What's up, guys? It's your boy Rod Serenity, and I'm joined with.
Desmond Mochi.
And today we're starting a new segment called Gamers Corner. Gamers Corner is going to be basically a talk show where we go over anything gaming related in the industry, new games release, gaming drama, esports, player trading, anything along those lines. This is going to be where you can come and just listen and hang out with us in this short video of about 30 minutes. And today we have for you E3 from this week, closing out E3. We're going to start off with Capcom's very disappointing E3, um, and follow that
Oh
up by
man.
Nintendo's really, really good and very surprisingly well done E3 with Breath of the Wild 2 being showcased along with some other fun stuff. So we can get off with Capcom's E3 by stating out that their waiting time was longer than the actual E3 showcase by about an hour and 45 minutes. And then showing a little bit of
Hey.
already released games. They showed more Monster Hunter Rise gameplay. Showed some more Monster Hunter stories gameplay, and then showed their first collaboration. And then they released they released their game. The Great Ace Attorney's Chronicles, and they showed off gameplay of that. It's basically a game where you're Sherlock Holmes and a detective, and you solve mystery cases. And that's about it. Their Capcom's E3 was very, very disappointing. I expect more out of Capcom. It could have been anything else. They also did showcase the DLC for Resident Evil Village, but I mean, in my opinion, they could have tweeted that out. That's not even their E3 wasn't even worth having a slot for, in my personal opinion. But Dev, you have anything to add on top of that very, very depressing news?
No, honestly it was very disappointing. You guys, if you guys watch our on the level, you guys would see where my opinion stands on it. With the whole thing of, I feel like a lot of the games that actually showed up at E3, they could have just been their own separate releases and whatnot. Capcom was really disappointing because I know there's a lot of people out there who really want to have a Street Fighter 6 or something like that come out. Shit, personally, I mean, I was hoping to see something like Marvel versus Capcom, but that didn't happen. Um, but besides that, I mean, cool. They're doing Resident Evil Village DLC. I mean, it didn't look too bad from what I've seen from it. But I don't feel like I feel like it. Okay, because the thing is with Resident Evil games, Resident Evil games have a lot of replayability. By them adding the DLC, it's going to give it even more replayability. You know what I mean? Because it's the same way for Resident Evil 7. So,
Yeah, I
um,
mean, I
and
can see
for
the
Ace Attorney,
replayability.
I know, yeah. And then for Ace Attorney, I know a few friends of mine who are really into that game, but I see that flopping, honestly. I see that like just as a placeholder game for Bandai, which I feel like that's a lot of the games that are coming out now. They're just placeholders.
Yeah, definitely. I was really hoping, even though they just created basically two new Monster Hunters, I was really hoping that we could see something, some type of news for a Monster Hunter World follow up, anything along those lines. It's their most successful Monster Hunter ever. It was the only one I've played. I thought it was really well. I like the monsters, the graphics, the fights, the mechanics. I thought everything was really well done. Um, and it was more quote
Yeah,
unquote realistic than the Nintendo versions. I was really hoping to see Capcom put in some more work into that side because they could make a lot more money and we could have a lot more gameplay. If they would have released Monster Hunter World 2 or anything along those lines in that universe, I firmly believe that this E3 would have been a success, even with, if that was the only game showcase. That's all they need because Monster Hunter World was so big. Again, if they had a Street Fighter 6, um, powerhouse games. They just didn't bring that. And a DLC is cool, but we don't look at E3 for DLCs. We look at we look at E3 for
Yeah, we like that's for like game awards and stuff like that.
we look at E3 for like massive release of Elden Ring, Battlefield 6. Not this year, but normally we see a Call of Duty. We look for those titles. We don't really look for DLCs along those lines. But Dev, if you want to really talk us through the Nintendo release, which I know you're really happy about.
Uh, okay, so with Nintendo, I wouldn't say that I'm ultra happy about that. I know I'm happy that they're coming out with a new Metroid, you know.
Yes.
Um, and it's the only thing that pisses me off about that, like I was talking about a few seconds ago, it's a placeholder.
Hmm.
It's literally a placeholder, because people really wanted a Metroid to come out, and for this game to be a 2D Metroid game, which I believe it's been 19 years since they came out with a side-scrolling Metroid game.
Right.
For them to bring that back, um, which is cool. I know I'm gonna get it. I'm definitely gonna get that. But I know for a fact they also said that we're giving you guys this game because the Metroid game that you guys want is still in development.
Right. Which at least we know it's
Um,
coming. At least we know that it is
no,
coming, and
yeah.
it's yeah. So that's better than Capcom
What
just
else?
saying, that here you go and not us not knowing anything. They did have the release of the new Smash character.
It's
Forgive me.
Oh yeah, the new character. It's gonna be Kazuya from Tekken, the Tekken series. Honestly, when it comes to that, I'm surprised. At first I was surprised that it wasn't like Jin or something like that, Kazuya's son. But the fact that I realized at the end of the day, Kazuya was one of the main characters since Tekken 1. He's OG, and so with that being said, I'm glad that he's gonna be a part of the game. Um, Honestly, I don't see him being all too broken, um, which I'm okay, whatever, as long as it's not sword character. I feel like he's gonna have the same mechanics as what's his name, Joker from Persona, where
Yeah.
he's gonna have a little trigger, and after a while, his Kazuya's demon form is gonna come out and help increase damage and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Besides that, it makes you wonder who's going to be the last character for this DLC pack.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we just gotta wait and see for that.
I mean, I'm happy for the Smash team. I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest Smash fan, but more characters the better. It definitely switches it up. And I think a release of a not broken character makes the game healthier. Because if you just keep releasing broken
Yeah,
character after broken character, and then most of the time you can see this throughout any video game history with a broken character, they're so hard to balance. Either you can't nerf them enough, or you completely kill the character. So it's better to honestly release an underwhelming character and buff them over time, rather than release this powerhouse that's just gonna beat everybody and then try and find a way to scale him back, which is really well done. So good on Nintendo, and it's also great for the Tekken series. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of people will enjoy playing him. I think a lot of times people get away from whether a game or a character is fun instead of whether he's broken. Because let's be honest, most people that play Smash are not going to reach the very high
yeah,
competitive scene. So as long as the character's fun to play and he's not game breaking, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be really well. I know people were hoping for a Mega Man 3, which you know is has not happened. But I think this is a nice middle ground, and I don't think they disappointed in any way this E3. They also did showcase some more Monster Hunter gameplay, stories, and Rise. So that was also on Nintendo. That game. Those games have been
oh yeah,
showcased
they
since the
did
beginning of
stories.
E3. And Stories 2 and Rise are going to have a
Yeah,
collaboration. So we'll see how that goes. I might watch some gameplay, but as far as that, it's pretty well.
From what they showed for what they showed for Monster Hunter stories and stuff like that, it looks like honestly, it looks like a Pokemon game kind of. You know, you have to hatch your monster, they fight alongside you, they level up, blah blah blah. It's interesting. I like it. I believe it or not, it's the first time I've seen a Monster Hunter Rise game. I
Hmm.
mean, not Rise, Monster Hunter story game. Um, and you know, I feel like it's something I'd pick up, probably not at launch, but it's something I'd eventually end up picking up. Another thing that they also showed for Nintendo, they're coming out with a WarioWare game. It's gonna have 200 mini games and stuff like that. And you can play with a friend.
Hmm.
I've always been very interested in the Wario games because I always like their fast-paced mini games.
Hmm.
Um, and then they're also releasing another Mario Party. It's going to be called Mario's Party Superstars. Um, honestly, at this point, I feel like they're doing what Nintendo does, which is recycle. You know, recycle games when it comes to Mario Party. I get it; it's
Hmm.
supposed to be the same. You know, it's not supposed to be that innovative, but
I mean,
I feel
it's
like
a
it should be
nice.
a little more innovative than what it does.
I mean, it's a party game. It's made to be played with friends when you have a gathering and you say, "Hey, everybody, let's jump on the Switch." You know, if you have a PlayStation
Hmm.
5, it's hard to tell everybody to, let's jump on the PlayStation. That's why we were so popular because you could have up to, seven, eight people play one game, depending on what the game was. You could have four to five. So, especially riding off a pandemic, and people is really anxious to be together and, congregate. I think that's why Wario's release date was so popular because you can play it with people, and that's why Party Two also after releases as big as it is because everybody just wants to be together and be around each other. So a party game encapsulates the feeling of wanting to be together. Let's come over everybody, let's get all the friends and let's play this game. So I can see that's a big reason why Nintendo released that. One thing with this E3 is we can't forget that these gaming companies are coming off of a pandemic, just like everybody else. So production was, halted
Yeah.
and delayed, and so we do have to give them credit where credit is due. That they even managed to have, a good E3, and be able to
Hmm.
come through. That quick question: how do you feel about the mechanic in Monster Hunter of being able to like knock out a monster and like ride it? Like you basically can just control the monster now. I thought about that for a while when I first played Monster Hunter World. Like I should be able to tame this, and the more I thought about it, the more it seemed broken. Like I can get a
Yeah.
Rathalos, and I thought about it. I was watching gameplay, and I'm like, I'm glad that games didn't have this because it's weird, you know.
Mm.
Outside of my little cat friend, having a giant dragon just go 1v1 for me is kind of strange. If you played the Monster Hunter games before, you'd know that you would have to trigger territory fights. You had to trigger battles. You had to get them to do certain actions to fight each other. Now you can just hit somebody upside the head with the hammer and say, "Okay, you're mine," without a Pokeball. I think that's a really weird mechanic. I hope that doesn't stay for the Monster Hunter franchise. I think they are moving in a very fun direction, especially with the new movement in Rise. But not every mechanic is a good mechanic. So we'll see how they take it there. I hope it stays in that game.
So,
That's just me personally.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. I feel like all those mechanics, me personally, I feel like they're welcome. Um, because again, this isn't just a regular. Again, this isn't a regular Monster Hunter game and stuff like that. I feel like, especially for a lot of people who play solo and stuff like that in the regular Monster Hunter, I definitely welcome something like that. You know, like if I do certain things to have a monster or something help me in a fight or something like that. That I feel like that'd be wonderful, especially because the way in stories you and your monster have the same. You guys have like a weird special together and stuff like that. So I find that very interesting. Also, what else? The fact that you're raising like you're basically raising the monster. You're leveling it up and all that stuff. I feel like that's very unique.
Mm.
Um, and I can see the appeal because there's hundreds of millions of
Yeah,
Pokemon
Pokemon
fans
fans.
everywhere and stuff like that. So they can definitely, you know, that's something that would lead them into a new game. It's like, oh, this reminds me of Pokemon. Oh, let me go play it. Let me go try this out. You know what I mean? So I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like it's really welcomed and stuff like that. But besides Monster Hunter, quick things. Both Life is Strange. It's gonna be Life is Strange, the remaster collection, and then the new
Mhm.
Life is Strange True Colors is also coming to the Switch. Mario Golf Super Rush. Again, it's like a Mario Party golf game, but it's
Mhm.
I find it very nice and interesting. I'm glad they had like I guess a so-called story mode or whatever, but with your me. Um, and then they also did Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which is I believe it's going to be all the Monkey Balls that's been released since the beginning. I find that very interesting as well. I was a big fan of Monkey Ball when I was growing up, so I'm glad they're. And two last things. I'm big surprised that they're going to be adding Dragon Ball Z Kakarot to the Switch with both DLCs. Um, that's a big shocker for me, but I think it's going to be very welcomed. I'm definitely going to buy it, just like I bought Assassin's Creed 3 for the Switch. It's something I could go around, play, and stuff like that. I feel like a game like that is going to show the Switch's true capabilities. You know what I mean? Um, so that's going to be that's a good move in my opinion.
Mhm.
And then finally, the big reveal that they finally showed us progress was the fact that Breath of the Wild 2 a trailer came out for
Yes.
it, and it was like one of the best trailers I've seen for a Legend of Zelda game, especially a continuation for Breath of the Wild. It looks like Link has a mechanical arm now, and then a lot of the places you can go to in Breath of the Wild are in the sky. So I want to see what they do with that.
Mhm. I think that's their biggest release of yesterday was definitely the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. Um, that's where everybody was,
Yeah.
that's what they wanted. So I can see why they didn't release certain games because you don't want to overshadow what you want your main selling point to be, which was, Breath of the Wild. Um,
Hmm.
as far as Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I'm not surprised that they released it, and only because one, Breath of the Wild 2 came out. So you can't, you want to have, in order to have sales as a company, you want to have your main driving point and then have, your side dishes. If you have so many main dishes, your sales will overall go down. If you save your release times for certain dates, you'll be well. So yes, I think Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will be a great addition to the Switch. Um, but of course, Breath of the Wild will be the main selling point, the main focal point. When that's released. Um, so I will be following Link's new adventure very closely. You did speak on the mechanical arm. I wonder where they'll take that. What new abilities he will have, what he won't be able to do, possibly because of the mechanical arm. To change up the
Hmm.
gameplay. So it's not just the same, with more story. But yeah, I think Nintendo overall had a really really good release date. Um, there were some things again that did feel recycled, but
The only
you know
one
what?
disappointing part, hey, the Mario Party, I'm telling you. But no, the only real big disappointing part about everything is the fact that there was no real release date for the new Switch that's coming out. I feel like they should have put that at E3, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, it's probably because they don't even know. Um,
Nah, it's
it's.
supposed to be coming out this year.
I mean, yeah, but when? When do they want their release? What release window are they aiming for? Are they going to aim for when the new games drop? Or are they going to aim for Christmas? They probably haven't even figured out internally what they want their release window
Most
to look
likely
like.
Christmas.
Especially when you have Elden Ring, Battlefield 6, Call of Duty. And we do understand that a lot of Nintendo fans aren't fans of PlayStation or Xbox. I have noticed that. But on the opposite side, you also have a lot of people that just own a PlayStation or PC and Nintendo. So we'll just have to see on those lines what window they choose to fit it in, because this year this video games and competition is going to be very tight. Like the video games released at E3 this year
Yeah.
were made up for last year significantly. I think if they dropped the Switch last year, they could do it whenever. But this year's game release is very, very, very tight windowed. And if they want to maximize profits, they might wait and maybe till even after Christmas, um, and push the release date back. Nintendo's known for just not saying anything, and they're saying it's not coming out this year or just not saying anything at all. Um, so it wouldn't surprise me if they just say, the technical delays, and just wait so that way they can have their open window and be able to release it. I wouldn't be surprised if they wait until after Battlefield came out, um, because that's your Battlefield, like Call of Duty. Because if you release any type of video game between those two time frames, you're not gonna do particularly well. Look at Titanfall 2, which is a very, very, very good game released right during Black Ops 3 and Battlefield, and it just didn't do well. It just sank just because of how the release window that it had. So we'll see along those lines, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo decided to just push that back.
Mm.
So I think that's every topic. I think that's everything that was released. As far as Nintendo and Capcom's was disappointment. So
Nothing interesting.
no,
Yeah, it's very
not.
disappointing. Yeah.
I didn't go over. I didn't watch Bandicoots. I forgot it was on
Uh,
today. Did they have anything like at all?
no. So from what I was seeing, all they really did was do House of Ashes, which is going to be coming out October 22nd this
Mm-hmm.
year. Um, the release from it, I mean, it looks like a horror game, basically.
Right.
It's a horror game from what it
Right.
looks like. I have to read much more on it.
Yeah.
But besides that, that's really all they showed.
Yeah. Kind of a sad way to end off E3, I guess. But
Uh,
when you had
you know,
those powerhouses at the beginning, you had Elden Ring on the first day of Summerfest. Then you get the Battlefield trailer. It's kind of hard to cap off such a huge E3. And then we're still waiting on news of the next Call of Duty because they've been tight-lipped with that. And Overwatch 2's release date is also being
uh,
paid very close attention to. Siege just had a massive update and a disappointment of a game. We'll just have to see. So sad way to end off E3, but other than that, I think that's it.
yeah.
So again,
Well, the good thing is that we still have a couple weeks, of good news coming in.
yeah,
I know, I forgot exactly which companies and everything are going to be coming in, but besides that, you know, the year's not over. They could always do surprise releases or surprise updates or something like that. I know I'm going to be looking forward for Pokemon. That's my biggest thing. Elden Ring as well. See what else they're going to add to the table with more trailers and stuff like that. I'm definitely looking forward for the Battlefield 6.
J-
Um, and
July 22nd.
recently, I think, hey, July, what
Hopefully the alpha
for
or
what
at least more
exactly?
news. Uh, in the trailer they said July
Oh yeah,
22nd.
I'm waiting for the beta. Yeah. Uh, but besides that, I'm definitely gonna be waiting for all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's at this point it's a great time to wrap up. I'm glad everyone came in, enjoyed what we're talking about. This is the Gamers Corner, and you can catch us every day.
And you can catch us live on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Other than that, hope everybody has a great day. This has been Gamers Corner. This is Rise and Dev Mochi logging out, and we'll see you next time.